do think people have multiple Gmail accounts. So it could be that each committee chairs, it could be Kareen.UNC, so you have to,
Yes, and then I will.
Okay, so we are
Set up.
and being recorded. We're on live on Zoom and being recorded. Okay. Just record. So you need to slide on over to be the chair.
Grace is coming. She takes some.
Okay, but the point is,
Yeah.
let's make sure. Yeah, there we go. She make noise. It's got you in the picture. Back to me.
Will you sit there, or do you want me to?
I can sit here and you're running meeting, right? Yeah, I don't mind. Sleep, just wake me up. I'm saying because it's very little sleep less.
You know what? You're the third person that's told me that. No one could sleep very well last night.
Well, strangely enough, I ended up middle of the night watching Voice of Australia battles. Where the the voice, yeah, but Australia, middle of the night. And it's like, I can't fall asleep, but I can do that. And I know we're being recorded, but there you go. That's what I did.
Nice.
But I did not.
Think of it as your agenda.
So the other thing is obviously. For those months, those meetings where you actually have material, you need it in advance, it has to be uploaded to the agenda. Okay.
Correct.
The only, this was.
Is it before the governing meeting or like that
No,
Fridays
before you're, in other words, the rule is it should be available to members of the public before they come,
Okay.
because they can, remember, some people are using their phone. They may not be able to see the screen.
Yes.
But if they had already downloaded the material, we don't have such material, none.
Yeah.
So it depends on obviously with planning and zoning, we have lots of material each and every time.
Yes.
But basically the rule of thumb is, like, for example, if your speaker comes here tonight and says, I have a flash drive, I want to show it, share the screen. That's fine, but I should keep it and then we upload it after the fact.
Okay.
Because it's a Brown Act, public access thing.
Okay. Okay.
So we should just, again, your committee doesn't tend to have that much, but if we're doing for example, a community impact statement on a council motion, we should have a council motion. And then could have a draft of the statement in advance.
Yes.
And so we can share the screen that people could have reviewed it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not the situation.
It's just yeah. So we have, and there was that courtroom. I guess we're gonna go with that. We heard that.
Oh,
Today.
Yes. Yes, in the news.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't think it was a ruling on the merits. I think it was while you were waiting for the ruling on the merits. I mean, so I think it's while you're waiting, there's no reason to have a temporary restraining order. I think maybe to secure it, but I think
Grace may know.
Right. Yeah, but the other thing is clearly your committee meeting most often is right after governing board.
Yeah.
So the question is who should be taking home the computer? And we are trying to figure out, we might be getting just a second computer. And then this one could just stay here.
Yes. Oh, I see.
Right. But at the moment, I brought it just in case.
Well, you do a lot of emails. You do send a lot of correspondence.
Well, that's not
you.
No, I don't. No, because I mean, I've got my own computer. I don't need, I don't need this for correspondence. But I brought it to the governing board just in case, because we were playing around computers. And it turns out it's actually more comfortable to share the stuff than I'm doing. not on the primary computer.
I agree.
So we're already on and recording, but we're not really,
Okay,
just FYI,
got it.
because once you start the YouTube, there's no other way to
Start.
unstop that. But I'm just trying to figure out better logistics on how to move computers from place to place, because I ended up having this over the weekend. Looked like in my car overnight, that was uncomfortable. Exactly. And then I just, but I don't. In my house, this will be, get
Yeah,
some
I understand.
allergic. But
I am.
I'm just
Hi,
saying,
Samantha.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, very well. Yeah, you were pretty on time. We still have 10 minutes, I think.
Right, and then we have
Yeah.
public comments.
Yeah, we're good. On the smaller street. Okay. Thank you.
Very.
Not
Not because. But no, and then I just had to say to David, I just really need to bring this computer into your house. Sorry. But
Yeah.
just can't. It's not safe to leave it in the car. Can't put it in the house. They're not open. I mean, they're not. We got very busy, so they're not open in the mornings.
I see.
And the afternoon, it's just whatever we were doing, it's just too much. I don't even remember what we were doing.
Laura, have you been on the LA Housing Department website? I got a request in from somebody asking to get transcripts from something a year ago.
Oh, they don't. Oh,
Do you think they have the recording though?
LAHD for a commission meeting?
A hearing.
No. Have you ever been to one of those hearings? They're not hearings. They're staff members giving mean reports, and then maybe they let the owner talk. But since most often by the
So
time you get
who's the hearing officer?
general manager or one of,
And they call it,
it's not usually the general manager.
but
it's-
somebody in the general manager's office kind of thing.
Well, I think it's like the planning department. You wouldn't normally see the director of planning at a hearing, so it'd be his designee. Or the Cultural Heritage Commission, most often, they have hearings, but for most decision making, or their designee, which would be Lambert in that case. So there's a designee, but it's not like your regular hearings, it's you're presumed guilty. You don't get that far, that it's a code enforcement thing, so usually there's been months, not a couple of years, before there is a general manager hearing. And so that there's just this presumption of you're a scumbag. And I don't know if they record it or not, it's okay. It's just an interesting situation, because you're kind of in a hearing room, but it's not.
Every time it seems like there's another layer of BS. It's amazing.
So the room is set up such that I can imagine there are recordings, but you'd probably have to do a public records.
Sure.
And I don't think that necessarily is really what.
Nice to meet you, Miss. I'm Corinne. Nice to meet you. This is Laura Meyer. She's UNNC.
Hi.
And this is Kira Gracie. She's my.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for coming. Have a seat.
Right here. Great. Pretty easy a little bit.
A little bit, yeah, it was telling me to come this way, so the map kept like routing me that way, but I was like, no, it's gonna be easier to park on this side.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
I just, yeah.
Yes, I'm often telling the person I work with, please turn off.
Right.
This way. She doesn't know the particulars of a neighborhood. Let's just look.
Which is why I always look at the map ahead
Mhm.
and I never like just blindly follow it. I'm like,
Oh,
no,
yeah,
let me
no,
look
no,
at the
that
street.
would be not-
But we did say the day that Waze took him off the freeway, it's like, oh my God, you listened? And he said, yes, it was a good thing because when I passed, then when I'm driving along next to a freeway, I looked up and it was stopped.
Oh my God.
So sometimes
That's
it's
good.
Sometimes.
It helps, yeah.
But ways makes you go through like tiny neighborhoods that we should not.
Right, or the stops, or like, it makes you go through a super like busy intersection on a stop and there's no light. I'm like, how am I supposed to go across 6 lanes? Like, yeah.
Oh, right, right.
Yeah.
I was in a car with someone and then we were going to Trio on Figueroa. And the way said go on 27th and then cross Figueroa. It's like, oh, you can't kind of see from that.
They're cold.
Evening, I don't know. Here. Hi, how are you? This is our president. This is Hernandez. Meet you.
But how many people do you have normally here?
In person? I think this is about it.
That's good, yeah, I did bring a lot of flyers, it's like we. Around for now.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so right now we don't have anybody signed in for go.
Okay.
But so
It's
the
not
trick
seven
is,
yet.
it's not seven, but also. If there are people, remember to talk. That's the meeting, this is not. A meeting, hold on, I have to look this up, look there, up here.
Yeah, yeah. It's good. And they can hear us okay?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean a solidarity call?
Not, we meet wherever we can find space,
Got it.
so,
We'll talk, and we'll talk about this.
okay.
Sorry.
Okay, no, that's okay.
But not.
Last meeting was at Harriet Tubman Center, which is on Pico Boulevard, it's like by La Brea. So there's different, we try to find, when we first started, we were meeting at a yoga studio. Yeah, it's a business owner that has the business on Crenshaw.
So remember that you're gonna be saying this again.
Well, I don't know if I'm gonna say all of that, just letting you know the context behind the meetings
Yeah.
and finding space. I probably won't go too much into that
Right.
during the presentation, but yeah, if you all know.
We're already being recorded. just
Oh,
so you know,
okay,
but it's
okay.
gonna be in the meeting.
Oh, okay.
And
We haven't gone live.
we are.
We are live. Oh, we're
We've
live.
been
Oh,
live for the past summer.
okay.
There's no way to unlive ourselves once we go live.
Okay, got it.
So, sorry.
Well, that's-
Yes, that's why we were chit chatting live.
We are chit-chatting.
And you can feel like you're here with us.
Yes. What's 7 o'clock?
I'm trying to figure out if I can. So Siobhan, it would actually probably be better if you were on the other side, because I'm gonna try and pull this computer so it's not
Okay, I'm sorry.
what we're reading.
Why did you post? Thank you.
No, I'm just saying, because if you try to shut the computer screen, it's just gonna block your face.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. So welcome, everybody. Welcome to our September Public Safety and Emergency Preparedness Committee. I'm Karine Elbridge. I'm co-chair for this committee. And then we're gonna introduce ourselves.
Hi, I'm Lisbeth Hernandez, and I'm with the West Adams Mid-City Defense Group.
Hello, I'm Grace Hugh, the other co-chair for this committee.
I am Siobhan O'Neill Schwenk. I'm a board member.
And I'm Laura Myers, also a member of UNNC. And at this moment, we do not have anyone logged into Zoom, but if you're watching on YouTube, welcome.
Welcome. So in our agenda, we go into general public comments.
I'm gonna share the agenda, so everyone.
Awesome.
I have a general public comment.
Okay.
Oh, wait, first we're gonna review the agenda.
Okay, very good.
And because it is being recorded for, so
Okay.
you wanna just say what's on the agenda?
Okay, so we called to order, we welcomed everybody, and now we're in the general public comment section. We have 1 to 2 minutes per speaker.
Well, I'm gonna unshare, so I'll just do this. So item 4 will be our presentation tonight
Okay.
from the Adams and Mid-Cities Defense Team. Item 5, if we get to it, is old business and round robin discussion on public safety and emergency preparedness concerns, and then we would adjourn.
Okay, great.
Stop share.
We have a public, I want to make a public comment for those of you who remember that I accidentally managed to get our streetlights over in Western Heights in our sixth plant, well, not exactly fixed, but changed to the solar pilot program. A quick update for everyone, they're all still working. Woohoo! Oh, good. I thought at least one of them would be blown out by now, but they all work. I also discovered that there is actually a way to turn them off. The city has to come in and turn them off. But they will also come back in and turn them back on. And I learned this during a film shoot that we had in the neighborhood. And they came through and turned them off. The film shoot that they were doing was supposed to be sometime in like the late 80s, early 90s. So they had a bunch of the old style lights that they put up for that, incandescent glow outside. But I didn't know that they could do that. So if anybody comes to your neighborhood and asks, can they be turned off? There you go. But they are still working. More neighbors have commented on it and said, gee, these are really bright and really nice, and no complaints so far. So they're all good. My understanding is that the Bureau of Streetlights, like everything else, has been seeing its funding cut, but I think there are still lights available, solar lights available, because they were purchased in the last fiscal. So if you're part of your neighborhood is interested, you might still be able to get into the pilot program. If anybody wants information on that, I'm certainly happy to share the anti-process, which happened. It's kind of happened fast. That's the update.
So rather than keeping it personal, let's share with you. Is there something you could write up? We could have it on our website.
I would probably have to talk to the Bureau of Streetlights
Correct.
about it, just to make sure that they're okay with us doing that, but sure, I could do that. Absolutely.
Because if we got a job in Sweden for 3 weeks, or wherever.
Here's something.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, great.
So I will add a general public comment. At our board meeting, there was a reference to fires being set in the alleys and a request and Molotov
Ooh.
cocktails. And and then we've had this similar comments at planning and zoning down Jefferson Park, but I didn't push that it end up on this agenda because the requester is Chris Carlson and she is out of state for a while, so that should be enough agenda item.
Okay. Okay, totally noted.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, one of our planning and zoning committee active members has had to deal with multiple fires. The alley between Jefferson and 31st.
I'm hearing about neighbors going in, turning it off the hose.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, her garage, her sunshine got almost. So anyway, it's a different issue, but not for tonight.
And then turning to our presenter,
Our
we're so
presenter.
delighted to have you here.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for inviting us. Like I mentioned, my name is Lisbeth Hernandez and I'm with the West Adams Mid-City Defense Group. And I'll talk a little bit about how we started, what we do, who we are, and how to get involved. So it was a group that started a few months ago. It was actually started by a couple organizers that saw comments in the West Adams area of people kind of, shocked with everything that's happening with immigration, upset, frustrated, all kinds of feelings at just observing that our community members are being attacked, being detained, and sometimes families don't know where they are for a long time. And so a lot of community members decided, hey, we live in the area, what can we do around here? How can we protect each other? How can we support our neighborhood? And so several folks wanted to come together in person. So we found, one of the members was owner of a business, yoga business, and so she offered her space. She said, no, let's come here, let's meet up, my doors are open. And so it was really great to have that space and a lot of commitment. We had over 30 people show up in person, and everyone was very, committed, interested, and we've grown as far as the community wants to take it, right? So no one group owns this. It's not an official organization. It's really a community-led effort. And people from all walks of life are part of it. We all have our day jobs, and we're just very committed to doing something, not just standing by while this is happening. It's really scary for a lot of our neighbors, a lot of our family members, even our businesses are being impacted. So we right now are meeting every other Wednesday. The location varies. We count on different public spaces that open their doors for us, and that's kind of how we decide where our meetings are. We did put together a steering committee. So we asked, from the members who's interested in just taking a leadership role. With so many people, sometimes it's hard to get things going. And so right now we created a steering committee of 5 members that we're meeting regularly to kind of create the structure, the foundation. And at this stage, our main goals are really going to the community and letting folks know about their rights. So going to businesses, going to a lot of street vendors, passing out know your rights type of information. We're also doing a lot of patrolling. So what that means is, there are trainings available. There's different organizations that are already doing this work. So we're also working with some of those organizations. The Community Self-Defense Coalition is a big organization that's putting a lot of that training together. And so we're relying on some of that work as well. And really what patrolling means varies on the person, right? There's some folks that as you're walking around your nightly walk, your neighborhood or in the morning, you kind of keep an eye on things, making sure that nothing stands out. There's trainings on how to identify ICE vehicles. And we're also trying to keep up with the information because we know their tactics keep changing. And so unfortunately today, right, the Supreme Court ruled that ICE can continue, racial profiling basically. And so as we know, there's some people that are more vulnerable than others. And so we're really trying to keep up with the info and trying to also come up with unique ways of, just coming together as a community, supporting each other, and really keeping everyone safe as best we can. We're also, as we're growing, we're looking at different needs, right? We're trying to get creative. There are some folks that at times don't even want to go do grocery shopping. They're too scared. And so we're looking at, what are some local food banks around? How can we connect them? So that's an idea that we're working on. It hasn't been fully developed. Something else we're working on is we have a lot of artists in the neighborhood. And so how do we utilize that? And so this next meeting, we're actually going to divide up into committees. So our committee is going to be one of them where folks are going to come together and identify how can we utilize those skills. So maybe put up flyers around the neighborhood on know your rights information, where to get resources. Also maybe where we know ICE has been and has taken an individual, maybe put up an art poster that shows, hey, ICE was here, and that alerts the community to be careful. So yeah, that's kind of like the gist of what we do. I don't know if you all have specific questions, but our next meeting is next Wednesday. It is at Solidarity Hall, so it's just down here on Jefferson. And I passed around the flyer with the information, and I'm sure we can share that also online for those that want to join. The address is on the form, and it's at 6:30 p.m.
So some of the volunteers who've gone on walks, Can you tell us like how a walk might go?
So we really recommend that folks are part of a training first before they go out. And there's a lot of trainings online as well, some in person. But once they have that training, which goes over like what ICE vehicles look like, how to differentiate from like a regular neighborhood vehicle versus an ICE vehicle, and some of the markers are like they have out of state license plates. They often don't have license plates both in the front and in the back. They have lights, like police vehicles have lights in the back. So, you know, there's like different things that the folks can do to keep an eye out on things. And then a lot of it is there's different levels of engagement. We always recommend, you know, safety as priority. We never want anybody to risk themselves doing this type of work. So what we're asking them to do is just be vigilant and then call one of the hotlines. So there are some hotlines that we work with to call, and then people that are a little bit more trained and know how to respond can, you know, come out and support and identify the vehicle. But so that's one thing. But as community members, part of the training is alerting the local community, right? If you do see that it's an ICE vehicle, how do you let the rest of the community know, hey, they're around here, they're driving this car. So we have an internal network on how to communicate with each other so that we can also provide that support. If somebody spots something, we share that, other people can respond and also, you know, provide that support. And what's nice about having so many people that are local is that it's not going to take us so long to get there, right? Because we all live in the area. And another thing to do is, you know, record. It's really important. That's actually been helpful in some situations. We've seen situations where they do very legal tactics. And so if there's a recording of it, attorneys are able to at least use that to delay the process or to really advocate for those individuals. Unfortunately, the legal system's not.
Can't handle this.
Yeah.
And the legal people are not on our side. I've got a question, this, because I'm sure you had this happen. The scenario being someone's recording and you've got an ICE agent coming and says, you can't record, and takes it away, kind of thing.
We haven't seen them take away a camera, at least not with our group,
Okay.
because legally we all have the right to record. And part of the training is also how to stay safe, right? You're not gonna go and like insert yourself in the middle of the situation. You're always going to be from a safe distance. And we also recommend everybody has their own risk level, right? Some people physically just cannot go out and patrol. So we all have different roles. Not everybody's gonna go out and do the same type of work. But yeah, we haven't seen that happening. We're recording and people also post it live. I have seen viral videos of situations like you're mentioning. And I think in those situations, things happen really fast. You know, I don't know what led to it exactly, but I think sometimes, you know, when you're like right in the middle of it, I think your chances of that happening, it's a little, yeah, higher. But for our group, we try to really
Stay on the other side of the block.
Yeah,
not
so
in
we
your
can-
face.
So we can continue the work too, right? Because unfortunately, come October 1st, ICE is gonna have a lot more money. Supreme Court today ruled, right, that they can continue doing this. So we know we want our community to continue doing the work that we're doing, and getting detained by them is not going to help, right? So, yeah.
How do I get myself involved in like the food and the food bank stuff? Like distribution or like good logistics?
Okay.
And even during COVID, the first batch, you know, I was helping stuff, so.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so if you can't attend our meetings, but you're still interested, I can definitely leave you my contact info. And then what I can do is, as needs come up, I can share that with you all. And then that way you can Cause this is new, we're just like trying to build the food piece, cause it takes a lot of logistical steps, so definitely, I think, you know, I can share where we're at, and if you all have skills, knowledge that you wanna share with us, we're more than happy to.
I have a question. We have a friend that couldn't make it tonight, but she wants to be a volunteer to help in any school, public school, to help walk them to school. But she's not been able to get any response back from the elementary schools, junior high schools, in terms of just if they have such programs right now in public schools. Do you know of anything?
Yeah, so there's a lot of teachers through their unions, through UTLA, that are organizing community and school patrols. And so we do work with them as well, so LAUSD started school, I believe on the 15th. So that first week, a lot of us, we mapped out different schools in the area. And so we all, you know, divided as many schools as we can, we covered them to ensure that there was eyes, you know, in the community. And as we were doing that, we actually noticed one of the schools that I went to, there were folks from AFSCME already there in front of the school. And so it sounds like there's a lot of efforts happening already.
Yeah.
But if they want to get involved with the specific school
Yes.
in the West Adams area,
Yeah.
they should connect with our group, because
Okay.
a lot of us support each other. So even if it's like one person, I want to go to this school, anybody else want to go with me, we kind of coordinate and upgrade the system that way.
Okay, I would definitely let her know.
Okay, so I understood Maureen's question to be something a little different, which is if the parents are now afraid to walk their kids to school, from house to school, how can adults help walk the kids safely, you know, 8 blocks to school, not safe from heights, just safe from crossing the streets and not getting hit by a car. I mean, in other words, parents are afraid to leave homes. Is there any such program?
Unfortunately, no, but if we do hear of specific families that reach out and they might say, hey, I live on this block. You know, we try to brainstorm with them, what are ways that we can help them address the question or the concern in a way that meets their needs. So, you know, sometimes it might be, is there a neighbor in the area that can help them and can walk the child with them? You know, is there another community member that can team up with them, right? So if those questions come up that are very like on an individual case, we try to problem solve depending on what that need is.
And similarly, maybe you can explain what you guys are thinking in terms of food distribution or food banks, because it would seem to me, just as it would be scary to go to the grocery store, I'd be scary to stand in a line. We have
I think
food distribution.
I think what's been happening is people have been delivering to the homes or to a safe area that everybody knows, and then it's taken.
But I mean, for example, is it weekly or every other week, the food distribution right around your house?
That's every other Friday at my house.
Right, and there's long lines.
Yeah, there is,
And I would really hate to see ICE show up to those lines.
You know, if they wanted to, we can't prevent them.
I know.
Unfortunately, I just see the lines being shorter than they have.
But I think that's a good point, right? So I think we've all had to think differently. How do we address those concerns? So there are food banks all over LA County, and I know sometimes when folks have a concern because maybe we've seen ICE has been in that area in the last couple of days, then folks put a call out, right, and say, hey, anybody available? We're gonna have a food bank Saturday from this time to this time. Can folks come and kind of keep an eye out, you know, patrol the area? So that's something that's helped for those that can't shift their tactic. But I know others have been able to shift their tactics completely, either do like a car drive by, you know, you're ready at this time, you don't have to get out of your car. You come to this building, we give it to you. Others have even like dropped it off at homes or like a specific location, come during this time, a church or a location where people know it's safe in terms of, you know, how to come in, how to leave.
So like logistically speaking, the one right next to my house is in Washington, right, in Gramercy. If that entity is finding that they have more food left over than they typically would, or they actually have food left over, we might be able to have a conversation with them and say, hey, we know exactly how to distribute this, you know, whatever you have left over, we'll help you distribute it to where it's really needed.
Yeah.
And that would be a simple way to,
Well, and also, I mean, during COVID, this is not COVID, and it's not even similar to COVID, but there's a similarity about delivering food boxes. Right?
yeah, well, you know, we were doing meals and there were a lot of elderly folks who just couldn't get out, and so we put in calls and I got tons of volunteers to help, so. Let's see.
Yeah. Cause we were helping pay for boxes to be delivered.
Yeah,
And it wasn't just World Harvest, so they were doing that, but With Love Cafe of Vermont. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure.
you came late, but
I did. Hello.
your name is,
Oh, my name is Russell McLean and I'm with Wellington Square.
oh, okay,
It's just that I'm usually working. I just recently retired. So
congratulations.
I'm just gonna, you know.
All right, and where can I go?
On here, but you know, it's more, but especially on this, cause I did do it for Wellington Square at one time.
Okay.
The emergency response.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I just was interested in hearing what's.
So Lynn,
Yes.
related in the distance past to Cecil McLean, the McLean family,
Now,
in
it-
Jefferson Park, no.
You know what, and no, it might be,
It's not.
Louisiana, I
it's
got
not-
relatives all around. Yeah, right. But
You're related somehow, you're like
we could be,
6,000.
yeah, exactly.
I do have a question on this topic. I don't know if you had any question. On any question, I guess present.
No, I'm listening, and I'm.
He's new, so.
I'm kind of like, yeah, but I'm kind of here to.
To what's going on.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm,
How long have you lived in Wellington Square?
I knew you was going, somebody asked me that, at least 25.
Okay.
I'm retired camera, ABC News.
Oh, you've been
44
around, you
years.
know what's been happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now I'm just working on the aches and pains.
Oh, yeah.
I'm good.
Terrific.
I'm just,
But you, pardon, you see,
I'm Grace Yu, I
Yeah,
ran
I
for
thought
city
so.
council.
I know.
Didn't make it in.
well, you know what,
Yeah.
I did vote.
Thank you. We're recorded, be careful what you say.
I know, because I was kind of hiding my. But yeah.
Thank
was
you.
real good, you know.
Smart man sitting in.
I was just curious in terms of what was the last known activity around our neighborhood? And what happened? You can tell us a little bit.
So ice has been spotted last week at the Food for Less on Western and Venice. Yeah, so they
Do we have a sense of why they're targeting that? location?
we're not sure, but
But that was
were
one of the very first. I had
Yes.
a text in January, right? I mean, really early.
So we've noticed that they use different locations for different things. So sometimes that location that has a lot of street vendors.
Yeah.
So there has been a street vendor detained there months ago, but this last incident, they were behind the Food for Less and like the back area.
Yeah,
And so it look, there's a brief recording of it from someone that was there. But at the time of the recording, all we can see is that they were like changing vehicles. So from one of like those white vans that they use to like another regular vehicle. So we're not sure if they just use it as a stop, if they like.
yeah, probably because it's an empty parking lot, they use.
Well, they probably don't have permission. I mean,
I'm
that's.
sure they don't because the security guard there has asked them to leave before. which
Well,
is-
it's very, that back parking lot's private, not part of the, I mean, anyways, I think there's an argument to be made that if you're in front of a grocery store in a parking lot, that it's public even. But that rear lot is absolutely, the only people supposed to be there are like film companies rented. I mean, it's private. Right, that's interesting.
They've also been seen at the Crenshaw Mall, you know how there's a lot of empty
Yeah,
spaces, parking lot, they've also been seen there, just like setting up or staging, as we call them, like when they're prepping to go out into the
and I
community.
feel like that's probably what they did for the Food for Less. I will say that the vendors in front of the Food for Less, you know, there used to be like 10, 12.
Yes.
I think the other day, two.
Yeah, they're true, and that's a professional company, because I've seen them early in the morning. The big company truck delivering food to the vet. I mean, in other words,
So
they're
that
wearing,
actually
they're
scares me
wearing
even more.
uniforms.
And you, as someone who's been behind the camera, knows this.
Yeah,
Some of these, you know, pop-ups
yeah, yeah,
are certainly not mom and pop.
No.
Everywhere on the street it's really mafia driven.
yeah.
Oh, well, I don't know about that. I'm
Uh,
gonna say, I think the people who are still vending probably have work permit. I mean, are probably not too worried that they're gonna, I mean, they're not little vendors
well,
anymore.
I know, no. All I can tell you is crazy things happen on our streets. Under the eyes of everything going on. And it's a wild west right now.
Out of curiosity, back on the subject of training. But one of the things that I've been thinking about is doing some sort of non-cooperation and observer training. Similar to Know Your Rights, but for those of us who are never going to be mistaken for anybody brown. And I'd like to use my privilege for good. And sure, they're not gonna come and take me away, but I'm really afraid for my neighbors, and I would like to know more, and I know that some of my neighbors would like to know more about how to be a witness and an observer safely. Because if we get hauled off, you know, our cameras get taken away, that makes us no good to our neighbors. And I know my sister, for example, she's a teacher up in Northern California, and they've been working with freedom something to do non-cooperation and observer training. And I'd love to be able to offer something like that to UNNC board members and community members. Would someone from your team be willing to come over and do that for us?
Yeah, for sure, so we don't have a specific non-cooperation training.
Oh, okay.
A lot of our focus is more on patrolling, so that's our main focus, but I think it's a good idea, right? And so as we're a collective, and so people that bring ideas and wanna work on something, we go with it, so.
Maybe we
We
can
can-
together and ask these guys, hey, would you come and do it?
Yeah.
Well, I would say, I'm the bureaucratic chief. I would say. For that description, I don't think UNNC could easily be the sponsor of that kind of event, because events have to be approved by the clerk. So what we would want to be able to do is promote an organization, you know, we could arrange
An
it,
organization
but,
that does
but
this,
in
yeah.
order, you know, it's like, okay. But, and we can certainly promote that training, multiple trainings. And help arrange it, but not make it a UNC sponsor.
Right, what's the name of the group that we just paid for their website? Jefferson what?
Well, we didn't actually accomplish paying for the website, yeah, it looks like, wow. Because of pushback from the clerk, so it's not that easy anymore to organize.
Was the friend
things-
Jefferson Park something?
Oh, the Jefferson Park HPLC. And they're not a non, I mean, it wouldn't be
So Waha could possibly say yes to something like this.
possibly.
But not that it's in your bailiwick.
Right.
We could find the right organization that
Exactly.
would do this. We just always need a 501c3 to allow for.
Well, just some other organization that we can promote. I mean, you know, we promote events in the neighborhood all the
Right.
time.
I don't know, WHN response. My other question was, you mentioned you have an art collective, do you have any muralists?
So, I'm not sure, actually, I'm not part of that committee,
Okay.
so I don't know what the capacity
So I
is,
should
but.
show up on Wednesday.
Yeah, if you show up on Wednesday, it's actually gonna be the first time that we're gonna divide up into the committees. So that the committee part is just for me. I think we've kind of worked on establishing leadership, identifying a few spaces where we meet and patrolling. And now, because so many people have a lot of really good ideas, we're trying to organize ourselves a little bit more. And so this idea of art came up because it's such a great way to express ourselves and create community.
Right, so there's two street artists. I don't know if collective is the right word, entities in the general area. One is somehow the folks at Pico Union Housing, which actually could be also the group that sponsors this training, because they have a wide range of interests. But they're the ones who sponsored that international mural event last, was it last fall? I mean, there's so many things, but
Yeah, I've been to so many,
but the murals, you saw a lot of pop-up murals on Washington Boulevard. So it was through someone who's at Pico Union Housing, and working with an international group. But then Steve Wallace, not him personally, but his tenant Terry, the back of the coffee house that used to be Alibi and stuff. But Terry, that's his business. He has street arts.
Yeah.
So it would not be very easy to do murals, because murals are defined as something more permanent and need permits, and they can't be removed after done. But there's other art that can be more ephemeral, and that's what you're telling me.
No, actually, WHNA is looking for a muralist because we have jurisdiction for a mural somewhere in our HPOZ. I don't quite know where it is. I think it's on Gramercy. I'm not totally sure. But I know it came up.
Oh, on the wall by Washington.
Yes,
On the auto body shop.
I believe so.
Where
Yes.
right now it's cute houses and kids.
I think so.
Maybe it's not in good shape.
I believe so. Yeah, it's not, my understanding is not in great shape. So that's why I was thinking we would love to, we'd like it to be someone as local as possible.
Oh, well, I should put you in contact with the Department of Cultural Affairs, a big RFP for local muralists to do the mural. That's never happened. There was one approved for the city-owned building, former Bank of America building, and it's not been installed. I don't know what this backup, but 81 local artists applied.
Wow.
So they have a good list of artists, and part of the whole RFP was in terms of scoring points, was what knowledge do you have about the community? And theirs was refocused on homelessness. It's on the homeless. The mural is supposed to be on the former council office. It's now the homelessness service hub. But I think that contract's coming to an end. That might be why the mural didn't go up. And I think the council office is gonna come back as a field office.
Sorry, didn't mean to get off the ground here.
No, but it would be
This is how-
interesting to have a mural related to this topic, not on that city on. But I was one of the judges on that, but I didn't save all the artist contacts.
I know some muralists.
Someone else on WHA is in charge of that. I
Yeah.
knew it was something that we needed to do, and I know that no headway has been made on it since our last meeting, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then again, Terry, who's the lieutenant at Steve Wallace, I mean, others, there's a lot of.
I think, yeah,
resources.
and he's got. some
Oh, and then the
experience
other
too.
entity that's actually local is Nomad. NOMAD, it's an acronym for something, but they do murals and they're located on Jefferson.
Oh, yeah, I've seen it.
Right, around, they're on it, well, near,
Near a Solidarity Hall.
exactly, up on the other side of the street, maybe near them, but near Cafe 5. And maybe the same complex buildings.
These guys are a little older, a little seasoned, that the mural is, and some of them passed on. I'll tell you about the quality of their work. The Capitol Records building, that mural, I grew up with him, Yeah,
I think you need to
yeah,
listen to some of.
yeah, and he actually grew up in Compton. And he's done a few of them at some of the train stops. Some of the guys
Oh, so he's-
did those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
the,
also you Wednesday.
Yeah.
the well-known murals that we see around town, unfortunately, some of the artists are passing.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
full of, let's see, the one who did the mural on 10th and Jefferson passed. The muralist who did the 1984 Olympics mural in Vermont has passed.
Yeah.
And on that one, it's troublesome because the county is finally getting around to trying to get it restored. Another Olympics, but the actual artist is gone. Okay.
Well, thank you for
Thank
coming.
you.
Thank you.
Sorry that we digressed so much.
But I think you've had a meet few.
Introduce yourself, what organization?
So I'm with a community group called the West Adams Mid-City Defense.
Okay,
Right next door.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all right.
so, thank you. If you know if the,
And your name, is your name?
My name's not on here. It's on the.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
and thank you for coming out and giving us such wonderful information. It's been, man, if anything should happen, where things are like, I don't know, hopefully not, but if it gets extreme, any situation, and you wanna come back and talk to us about it or share, your organization, what they're doing, or needing volunteers, do let us know. And come back and share with us, because that will always be the forefront for us right now.
Thank you. And also, as you all are meeting, and if you come across resources or you think it might be helpful to connect, please also reach out. And
I might have a volunteer for you.
yeah.
Yes.
And we're always, this is again, a community-led effort. No one person owns it. It's not about that. It's about people have ideas. How do we get them off the ground and support each other?
Thank you so much.
They after everybody, they just going after the low hanging fruit right now.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't leave the house without your ID. Always keep your ID.
And you
But
should
you know, LA folks know that.
Is it okay if I cut out?
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
So, the other item on your agenda would be that round robin discussion about the public safety. It's
Oh, good, wait, here.
She's good.
Oh, the other way, okay, thank you. Old business, round robin discussions.
Well, it's just general public safety concerns. I mean, the lights, the fact that you were able to get some up is amazing.
Yeah.
Because, it takes years, unfortunately.
I think getting the lights fixed with the copper thefts and everything, it's just gonna be more of a problem because the city budget is shrunk so much. So the more that we can be self-reliant or reliant on, abundant resources like sunlight, I think is the best thing for us. I'd be curious to know how much do those solar lamps cost, because I'm sure some communities are so sick of this, they could probably, drum up a couple bucks and have them installed themselves if they really want them. I mean, it happened one afternoon. I was in the shower when it was happening. Like, my phone exploded with texts from the neighborhood text thread. My husband was like, "Did you know that they're putting the solar lights in today?" I was like, "What?" He's like, "They did it while you were in the shower. It was pretty cool. They came with a cherry picker. They took the arm off of the light pole, snipped off the wires, dropped it into the cherry picker, pulled out this giant light thing with a sock and plopped it over the pole. It took less than 5 minutes. Out there, I'm dripping. There it is. I mean, it literally took them it was literally that fast to install them.
That is pretty amazing.
I think that's incredible. I mean, I can see neighborhoods going, "We can do that." Sign me up for that cherry picker.
Well, there is actually a way a neighborhood can't do that without raising funds, and that's to
Well, I mean, what we did is I asked.
No, what I mean is, when you pay your property tax bill. There's a lighting district assessment. So there probably is a way to vote in a new assessment on, 6 blocks or something. I mean, you guys are in a pilot program.
Yeah.
But they're not gonna be able to do the entire city.
No.
Clearly. But, some neighborhoods some property owners in neighborhoods might be willing to assess themselves over a 10 to 20-year period to pay for it. I'm making this up, but
I wonder where
that's
that
a
field is.
thing.
I'll find
Yeah,
out where it is.
I got some lights changed in Wellington Square. Their main office is on Santa Monica, and I wanna say where Virgil goes down there, and when you pass it, you see a whole lot of street lights.
Oh, yeah,
And that's their main place.
okay.
And I walked in there and if, you could squeeze them a little bit and they.
Well, she did it by
Yeah.
accident. She wasn't.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to squeeze anybody. I
She
heard
was just
about,
persistent.
I was persistent. I heard about the program. Chris and I had talked about it. We had talked about it at the WH meeting. It's like, well, I can make a couple of phone calls and send a couple of emails, and the worst they say is no, right? So I finally got a hold of a guy at the Bureau of Street Lighting. I said, and I made a case. I said, we're just a 6 block HPOZ. We're right in the middle of an urban area. We've been plagued by thefts, particularly on Gramercy. You can see it on the 311 map, that ArcGIS map that they generate. I'm sure you can see it. We've had a baby boom in the area in recent months. We have 3 of them. We've got a lot of elderly residents, and I worry all the time about Ed Shiflett, who is like 92 years old, shuffling down the street with his dog, and I worry about him like tripping.
I
out
don't
there.
think he's 92, but yes, he's elderly.
He's pretty elderly.
No, only because I know some of his friends who are indeed a little older than me, but they're not that old.
But he ain't so spry lately. I don't know
I
if you've seen him.
understand. No, I haven't.
But I worry endlessly.
I've
about
read his
that.
emails. He's still spry on that, but anyway.
I reached out to this guy, I was like, how can we get ourselves into the pilot program? Like, how do we make
Yes,
that
by
happen?
being persistent, she got it.
Yeah, he said, you can help me out by making sure the 311 map, he sent me a copy of it, like what he sees in the 311 map, not what we see. He sent me a copy and said, do you mind doing a donut around the neighborhood and making sure that this is accurate? I was like, I can totally do that. So I did a donut around the neighborhood and checked the accuracy of the reports. I told him where it was wrong and things had been fixed. And then 3 months later, Carl knocks on the door when I'm in the shower. Hey, did you know this was happening? And I sent my husband. And so I sent an email to this guy in the city. I was like, what the? And he's like, that is the quickest community feedback I've ever gotten. He said, I was literally just emailing you. You guys got bumped up. I'm sorry I didn't let you know ahead of time. But we were supposed to do another neighborhood and we had a tree problem that we didn't know what we had. So you guys got bumped up in the order and they decided, oh, well, they're only going to take 3 days. So we'll just do them now. That's great.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Just by being nice to me. And I went and did the donut for him and did 311 for him.
And there are so many people who would be willing to do that,
Oh, yeah.
right, for the city to function.
Yeah. We'll contribute to that if it makes
Well,
sense.
But politeness goes a long way.
Well, but you know what also goes a long
What?
way is that belief that I can make it so,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's actually the kind of the pep talk we gave to Caesar about a park in the neighborhood, because some people were saying, oh, you will never get a park in this park. I said, we told Michael Solomon, he was nuts when he said, let's get rid of the oil field and put housing at Washington and Fourth, and look what's almost done. Housing at Washington and Fourth, and they go fields. So, it's like.
Well, and
just
Leslie
leave-
Shaw Park, I mean,
We'll make,
wasn't UNNC part of making that happen?
well, there was a little park there, but getting the $1 million park, yes, UNNC played a big role. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Well, the fact that we're sitting here in South Sea's house,
That's amazing.
actually, we
It's neighbors getting up.
and
Making it
saying,
happen.
"Yeah, we can do it, don't tell us no."
Yeah.
But it's having that vision.
And I was just like, what can we do to help? What can we do to help expedite that? There's a lot that we're willing to do. Just tell me what we need to do. And I will tell the WHNA board what needs to get done. It was pretty
So
simple.
WHNA UNNA is Western
Heights
Neighborhood Association.
Mm.
On another
Yeah,
note,
else
and we did have a nice conversation, quick conversation of governing board about, the letter regarding traffic accidents. Jefferson
Oh, yeah.
and West Adams, but what we didn't spend the time that we spent planning and zoning, it was like an hour and a half of major community
Spirited
discussion.
debate.
Not really debate, I mean, just discussing the situation, because those two streets, but also Arlington, which is not on the letter, just have had so many serious and fatal accidents.
Just yesterday, I heard switching tires, stuck my head outside, and there were two cars that close to each other out on Gramercy, out on.
Yeah, well, Gramercy doesn't have that long history of many.
No.
Accidents.
But people in general are just.
Well, lights doesn't mean yellow, it doesn't mean parking anymore.
So
There's a lot of people making.
Just means go faster.
Yeah,
it's like a speedway and
Yes.
multiple houses have been hit by cars.
Yes, I've seen that.
Multiple houses. There's a house down at 29th in Arlington. This one
29th in Arlington is
It-
bad.
has been hit multiple times. David's house at 25th in Arlington. And his tenants didn't call in the middle of the night, but the next morning, this is about 6 years, gets calls from the neighbors, not the tenants, but anyway, car had gone over the curb and into the basement. And they had, jaws of life to get the guy out of the car.
Right,
Wow.
There was, I think he was racing. I mean, there were multiple different accounts.
That's even worse.
Because at Karen Haas's house, which is there, kitty corner from here, at the back of her house, a car had gone through the wall, and it's like, couldn't have been the car that was under David's house, because that was under David's house, right? But, and 3 of the street trees were taken.
Idiots.
So I think there were 2 cars racing,
Oh,
my opinion, but there was never a report to that effect. But anyway, so, I had jokingly said, although now I think I'm not making a joke, that the way to solve Arlington would be simply eliminate the freeway on there. There's this little country road that was there in 1890 in a bird's eye map. It's a little skinny country road. It was not designed for this kind of traffic.
Okay, we're never.
I know it's never gonna
Okay,
happen.
so let's not even say no more.
I don't think so. I'm not gonna make that into my field of
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, that's
But
not it.
I've jokingly said it, but I know that I don't know of any other solution. Cause these bollards and this and that, look how fast the cars are going, even as we're seeing. So,
Oh, and our bollards.
I mean,
on
literally how fast they're going. as
And
we're seeing.
our bollards on Arlington and Cimarron, they're flat. Because they've been driven over so many times.
There's no
Arlington
intersection.
and Cimarron, Arlington
No, they
21st, Arlington 21st. Something like that.
You
You
have-
have bollards at Arlington and something.
Arlington? This is Arlington.
This is Arlington.
This is
So it'd
Arlington.
be 21st or 20th, but you don't have bollards at 20th, you have a concrete garden thing. So it must be 21st.
But there's bollards right next to it. Because
I don't even
there's
know why
that
there
turn
would
lane,
be.
there's 2. Yeah, there's 2 of them and they're flat.
These they don't smash
People-
the cars.
Because people drive over.
Okay, anyway, I'm just saying there was spirited conversation and appreciate the board rubber stamping, as it were, almost rubber stamping letter, but the,
Did UNNC stand on 79, SB 79?
opposed. I don't know that it matters. Did they vote today?
I didn't keep up. Today was a crazy day for me.
Well, Scott Wiener accepted another amendment, and this time they're amending to eliminate, it won't apply to towns of 35,000 people or less. So all the rural assembly and senate members now have no reason to vote no. But so it's pretty much gonna apply only to LA. Yeah.
Disgusting.
Yeah, exactly, so it's just
Absolutely.
targeting Los Angeles. And you know that they've eliminated most protections for historic properties. That was an amendment about
Yes.
a week on September 2nd. So, well, I mean, when I say all historic properties, I mean, there's the half-mile radius thing, so not all historic properties fall in a half-mile radius.
Right.
What the current version of the legislation is that historic properties are still exempt, but only if it's fewer than 10% of all the properties in the radius. So any historic district, it would not qualify as a historic district if they have fewer than 10% properties are historic. You can't qualify unless you have like 2/3. So a university park will be heavily impacted. Carthay Circle would be heavily impacted. Jefferson Park's not that heavily impacted because it's not within that half mile.
Gavin, are you trying to let us know we need to wrap?
No. I just.
He's just
I
walking
asked you,
around.
Must have jazz festival if it was relevant, but
Oh, I missed
the South Seas House, wondering if we could get a letter of support for public safety. To get a stop sign and crosswalk between the two parcels. We've been trying for 20 years. So.
It would need to be on Korea's agenda next month.
Okay. I didn't know if it's possible.
Would you like to be a
Well-
guest presenter?
No,
Gavin just wants to
uh,
request.
that UNNC write a letter
Right,
to whoever one writes a letter to.
is that dots?
Well, whoever, I
Okay.
mean, in other words, but it would have to be an agenda item that then gets recommended from this committee to the board.
And it would be very
Mhm.
helpful if you gave us the history as to like how many.
Oh, well, thank you, because the history is, oh, use the other one. There isn't another one.
No,
So don't use
how-
this, use the crosswalk across 23rd Street, we're like, there
No.
isn't one.
You know what I'm saying, but
Right.
how many children have
Incidents.
been.
Oh, I
Okay,
think the history of our question,
No,
I'm sorry.
no, I don't, I'm asking the
Yeah.
accidents, the history of the accidents and
Oh.
or incidents,
incidents.
you
Accidents.
know, or other reason why there should be a child safety zone. I mean, in other words, what you're trying to get is a child safety zone.
Yeah.
So we want it to be as impactful as it can be, and if you gave us that information, it would make it easier for us to write a really good letter, right?
Right, so if your leadership here has the specific request, I mean, you need to get it to Corinne and Grace in time for their next meeting a month from now.
So it'll be
Bullet
on the
points
agenda.
with some bullet points with the relevant, here's what we've tried to do, here's all the reasons why we've tried to do it, here's a number of incidents that we've had. Parents have been asking us that kind of stuff, it's helpful to know,
Right,
just some
parents.
bullet points so we can turn into a.
Right. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
I've become a big believer that when people ask for a letter, they should fax them. Because I found myself not able to
Yeah, we
do all
can't,
the.
we can't do it, that's why it's one of
No,
we need you to tell us.
Yeah.
well, it's more than that.
Yeah.
Planning and zoning, they're so.
Yeah,
many
yeah.
Zoning, it's like, I just can't write them
Yeah,
all.
no, we
anymore.
can't, no,
Now, do we add this request in the next agenda?
Next
If
agenda.
he,
gets
Well,
us the, yeah, if
Okay.
we get what we need, because we can't put it out there if we don't have what we need.
Yeah.
exactly,
Okay.
exactly. I mean, it's not very easy to get extra crosswalk. I mean, that's why those,
It's not
It's
easy.
not easy.
that's why those folks in West LA on a weekend painted their own
Mm.
crosswalk.
And then they repainted it.
Yeah, city came out and unpainted the
Yeah,
paint.
they were upset. You did our job.
And then they repainted because there was pushback from the unpainted.
Speed bumps, I don't know who did that. Speed.
We were just informed at planning and zoning
Yeah.
that one of the budget cuts was speed bumps. There are no speed bumps in the budget for this fiscal year.
You know, maybe if they stop giving people $450,000 of public employees, that'd be a smart way to
You
say
mean their
something.
salary?
Yeah.
Wow.
450?
1,000, yeah. Crazy. city employees getting paid like that.
They're trying to pay a director of communications job, for which I'm pretty qualified. They're trying to pay that position $112,000 a year.
Now
They're
that's
crazy,
but is that high or low?
low, super low. In the private sector, that position would be making between 180 and 200.
Yeah, well, again, the city
It's the city.
isn't supposed to be paying that.
But that's a union level negotiated price point, as it were, but it's a job, that job would have been part of a
Then who gets negotiated for 50?
manager's.
Yeah, managers.
Well,
Because those are-
managers,
those
not
are exact-
engineers and type-
Right, there,
Well,
that's
no,
exempt,
there's OT that puts you into that for
Right.
that.
Oh, yeah.
but these are, the exempt positions are negotiable, everything else is scheduled. But I think 112 is an awful lot of money, I admit, I do know, I've seen the charts, it is considered moderate income. You know, and could qualify for some of the.
We're
affordable
older,
housing.
we're older.
No, I'm saying I understand that that's below the median.
I know.
Well, it's actually 120% of. So.
Okay.
But
Anyhow,
we digress, we just digress. Anyway,
So just
speak
to,
on-
as we're wrapping it up, right?
thank
Just
you.
for next future meeting, we're gonna have the agenda. Hopefully, it would be that regarding the fires in the alleys and all
Yeah,
that.
and again, Chris needs to show up
Chris,
to help.
Yeah,
Just fine.
she's out of town.
No, I understand. I
But she'll
talked
be
to-
back by.
She'll be back. I,
can she help with the topic of the agenda?
well, she requested the agenda, so she needs to write it up,
Okay, great.
you know, at least.
I'm just
draft it.
curious if,
And I
if there's-
talked to her, this was not arbitrary, I talked to her and she said not this.
I'm curious if whether or not, is it possible to invite somebody from the fire department in that area to come and speak them out and handle?
Well, it's Station 26, so-
It's Station 26.
so
Okay,
do you guys have a working relationship?
I have a number of.
Well, no, I mean, Western.
I do not, but I believe Herman does. I will ask him
Oh,
when I
okay.
see him, because I'm gonna see him on
Well,
Saturday.
you know, the firefighters love crispy cake.
Yes, he does, they do.
Okay, they'll do anything for Chris.
Yeah, but he might not do anything for us.
Well, I think I can work on Chris.
Oh,
Yeah.
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 it's supposed to be-
He's one of the local.
Krishna,
He
on
lives
21st Street, he's in your neighborhood.
on the other side of Gramercy. Yeah,
Yeah, but in Western Heights.
yeah.
I'm sure I've met him, I just don't, not connecting any new face.
Well, no, he just.
If he shows up on Saturday, I'll make sure to introduce
He
myself.
probably won't,
He won't. He just cleans up the neighborhood and so people appreciate
and
it.
he hangs out with the fire department.
Yeah,
And he bought the.
Christian.
no,
Krishna,
his name is Krishna, but goes by Chris. KRISHNA.
He's the one who ran for the other seat in that, okay, he's the one who came up and introduced himself to me when we bought the house and said, Kenny's aunties used to babysit me, I grew up in that living room.
Wow.
quite possible.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
like something Chris would do.
That is the same guy, okay, yeah.
Does anybody wanna at least do an invitation to see if they could join us?
I will,
Through Zoom?
I actually
Okay.
have to go and do a lot of meals to Station 26. When they've been at my house a little too
Oh.
frequently because of my dad, so.
Yeah. Okay, very well.
Yeah.
I'll also ask.
If he's in town. We have an assistant city fire chief that lives in Wellington Square. But I think he retired and picked up a job on the East Coast. But the
Is that the guy who lives on,
yeah, Kwame, yeah, on that street. Yeah.
is that well?
Big old yellow house, yeah. Yeah, but then I know emergency response guy, that we more than, yeah, he'll be more than, yeah, he'll be more than happy to show up. Yeah, and he got, he's helped me a whole lot. Thing.
Now, on that note, October is considered earthquake preparedness month,
Yeah.
so,
Well, that should be most likely your headline agenda item.
Yeah.
yeah,
Actually,
right, from October?
well, that, I mean, just,
It's October, so we need to. Let's see,
Should we add it to the agenda? I mean.
Yeah, that should be your,
Yeah, we should actually, let's talk to
Okay.
Shen and see what he's up to.
yeah, and is there any events surrounding that?
Well, you know, there's the annual one down at Elma Park.
But is it being held this year?
Is it gonna be before our meeting
Can't imagine.
or after?
It would be after, they're usually towards the end.
Oh, then maybe we could promote it during.
Well,
our
you know,
meeting.
We'll have to find out.
You know, I don't know if you ever look at the environmental committee agenda, but the second to last item is usually announcements, but we'll put events that are right on the agenda with a link, so it's like not really something we're talking about so much as we're communicating, right? As an, in other words, it's a printed announcement of the stuff at the top.
You know how you can get the fire department. See, I have
Feed
nothing.
them. See that?
Well, yeah, and then I had a recruiting van go to the farmer's market. So they were recruiters and they were more than happy, and and they brought everything out, And when they had the recruiters there and then the farmer's market, and the one in Washington,
Yeah,
there's people already out there, so if you wanted to do anything, I had called, the reason why I was here was because of this safety and emergency preparation. So I had some of these guys with this gear. I got the bag where you feed a family of 5, because if there's a bad earthquake, better stay in the house. They'll just stay put. But I had those people show up with the different emergency stuff in the fire department. Man, they'll love to show up. I mean, they will. If they get a little pressure from higher up, they'll show up. But they were happy to recruit people. I mean, I said, hey, there's a lot of kids. I did it right after high school was out. I mean, and so there's kids looking for jobs, and a lot of kids don't know anything about how to get on the fire department or the LAPD. I had them show up too, but it worked.
you're welcome back.
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, I'm assisting.
Okay.
I'll be happy to.
So,
Okay.
so how at the CERT training workshops, I showed everybody the little flash light that I carry around. It's this big and it's chargeable. So my new toy along with that's serious. I have it in my purse everywhere. Well, it's on my dashboard right now, but I have it because you never know when you're gonna be on a dark street.
That's
Los Angeles.
Yeah, so it's not it's the bottom of your purse. So now it's not just for earthquakes, but in the meantime, I bought a new toy. And it's about this big, and it's a solar powered power pack.
Yeah.
But I'm leaving that on my dashboard in my car. It's just all day long, charging right through the front window, and I see the little green light. So,
And you're charging your phone.
well, I'm not charging anything. I'm just charging the power.
Okay.
But we were able to use it.
Can you bring it for show and tell for next month? Please bring it. I want to see
in my car.
whatever toys and gadgets you have, all helps with the emergency
But I
preparedness.
want to say it worked. We used it at
the Jazz Fest?
At the Jazz Fest to let the computer run.
All right.
Because it's a power pack.
I mean, that's what we have with the solar lights that I got. It has a little solar panel. You stick the little thing in the ground and it powers the solar lights.
I'm sorry, we're gonna have to adjourn
Yes.
pretty soon. It's we're a little past. We have passionate people with a lot of knowledge and sharing of resources, but let's pick it up next month.
Yep.
Second Monday of each month at 7:00 here at the house. And hope to see everybody.
I know organization, I'd be more than happy to help these folks. I just looked up